Hey guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I figured since I had access to the demo because I watched people do the early access, I figured I would kind of show you guys just the in cast, what we would call it in The Sims, and then of course some build mode. Now there are things that are missing from this because in cast mode you can't do like setting the traits and things like that in the demo. You can only do that when you have the early access or with the actual game, but I can show you, like, you'll see it, like the presets and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's hop right into it. Alright, so jumping right into it, you see that I'm here in create a Zoi, which would be create a cast for us here in the Sims world. I'm just flipping through where you can do child, teenager, young adult, they have adult, middle-aged adult, and elder. That was male and female. Of course, I'm going to switch back to the young adult. Then what I'm doing over here is these are the presets that they already have. You know how like in the Sims that they have preset Sims. So this is kind of like that. They have a good variety, which was kind of really good to see. And so it's really just the realism for me that kind of just throws me for a loop. I'm so just not used to this. I'm used to more of the cartoon wise as in the Sims. So it's kind of odd for me. And then right here is where I chose one of the presets that I wanted to use. So I looked at it, I was like, okay, this is pretty good base, you know, I can work with this. So then I just go right over to the face, and you can see that they have different face presets. Then I go to the hair over here, and I choose this hair because I'm like, I like it, it's really nice and straight. Didn't realize when you go to the color wheel that it had like different layers that you could choose for like color wise. So I was kind of like, I don't like that. Now what I do like is that you can choose the hair colors that you want. It makes it really easy to choose a hair color. So then you see here that I chose the hair here, and I was just kind of going through the hair colors that I liked, and then they had like the preset ones, and I found a preset one and I kind of just adjusted that to my liking. And I kind of went with this weird color because why not? We can't get these weird colors in The Sims. So I decided to do it like this, and I think it turned out really good. So then moving on, you see that we have the skins here. I didn't really mess around with this because I used a preset sim. So I was kind of like, it's already where it needs to be. So I just kind of left it be. And then I was kind of messing around. You have like brow creases, eye bags, cheeks, nose bridge, all kinds of different things, which is really cool. This is pretty cool because in The Sims, you know, you would have to literally download custom content for this type of stuff. So it kind of gives it, you know, I like it. I did like that part about it. And then you have, of course, your moles, which I had to put some on her because, yeah, if anybody knows me, I'm always having to put moles or freckles on my Sims because that's just who I am. I feel like it's more realistic. And then I was going through more of the freckles here. She already had some, the preset Sim did, so I kind of left it like that. You have scars and then like face painting. I kind of just left that alone. I didn't really take a look. Here I kind of just left the eye preset that they had. I kind of like clicked around, and then I went into the color wheel and I just messed around with the colors, and I found this really awesome color, so I was like, let me keep that. And then these are the brows. I kind of just messed around and clicked around to ones that I liked. And then of course you can go down and do the intensity, which you know, thickens them or thins them. It's kind of really cool. I did like that aspect of that as well. Now the one thing that I wish that they would have had is that like you could color match it to like the hair. Not that I would want the hair to be, or the eyebrows be the color of the hair, but you know, it would have been a little bit better. And then the eyelashes, I was actually really impressed by the eyelashes, how good they actually look. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, of course you have eyelashes, and then you have this. And then you go into the makeup, and it was absolutely awesome what you could do in the makeup. The highlighter was cool. You have the blush, then you have the eyeshadow, eyeliner, lipstick, and I kind of just picked the ones that I liked because, you know, I was just creating one and just kind of clicking through, and I really found these ones that I liked, and I was like, okay, I really like this. And I was like, pretty cool, you know, it's nice and simple for like a base game content type of thing. Even in this demo, this was pretty cool just to be able to witness all this and that it already has all this. For the lips, I kind of just like messed around with a couple of them because I was like really like just in awe with how good most of them looked. So of course I had to click through all of them until I really found one that I liked. And I didn't really mess with the color wheel with it, which I'm sure is just as normal with a color wheel. You can just choose the lip color that you want. But I just ended up choosing that you will see here in a minute, just like the little lip gloss looking one. I kind of just left it as that. And then I went into the detail editing mode. When you scroll into this, it was so awesome that you could literally do like it all. And I was really impressed by this, that you could get so close and so detailed into this. It's way better than The Sims. I could definitely give them props on this compared to The Sims, because this was way more detailed than we could ever get in The Sims. And it's just, it was flawless to me for this point. So far in cast wise, I was really impressed of how they did this and how realistic it looks and just how detailed you can really get into it. It's pretty awesome. And so just think that this is all already included into the game instead of having to have all this custom content put into your game. Kind of makes it a little bit more exciting to create them. Gameplay is going to be a little bit different because of seeing some things in the early access. There's a lot that it's missing, but cast wise, they have definitely succeeded in this. So then moving on to this was the outfits. This was the body choice. So I kind of just clicked through all of them. I wanted everybody to be able to see like the body types that they did have on here. I ended up choosing not like super muscular or have the muscles and things like that. Kind of chose just more of a natural look. And then I went into like the body shaping where you could do the muscles and body weight. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, it has like a scale kind of thing that you can choose from, which was pretty cool. And then I went into more of the detail aspect of it where you can pull out the hips, you can make the hands actually smaller, you could, you know, make things different sizes. It was more of a in detail than of course what we get with The Sims, but it was definitely pretty cool. I didn't want to mess around with it too much because the preset that I already chose was pretty on point with things, so I kind of just left it as it was. And then I moved on to the outfits, and this is where I was also very, you know, excited to see, because you see these clothes that they have in here and like just their base game is what we would call it. And like I'm like, I think I have a lot of this stuff that's like custom content in The Sims, and you're getting this in base game. I know you guys are going to hear me say that a lot in this, but honestly, that's the exciting part, is that you can get like most of this in the base game of this game, and we didn't get that with The Sims. Now, I'm an all-time Sim lover, always will be, and I will probably always choose my Sim, but this is definitely where it's going to be a hot take for The Sims and this game, because the cast is really outdoing The Sims in this moment. So as I'm just like scrolling through this, I'm just clicking through these outfits just so that you guys could see, not outfits, but you know, pants, so that you guys could see that, you know, they have different varieties from lots of things. Of course, I always choose my skirts. I don't know what it is, but I just chose a skirt, so I was like, that's pretty cool. We're just gonna roll with it. And then also what's really cool about this is that you can choose like outerwear, so then you can layer it with a jacket, which I thought was really, really cool, because you know in The Sims we can't really layer a lot of things. So this was actually a really cool option, and I just kind of matched it to the skirt. Now this might not be the best outfit, and you guys are probably like, Megan, what the heck did you even put her in? Like, I was just kind of rolling with it, you know, I was just kind of vibing, and I just chose this, and I was like, it's good enough. And then I moved on to the shoes, and I was like, you know what, this is not even gonna be like some Zoi that I play with, maybe possibly, I don't know. But I was just kind of going through things, just kind of clicking through, seeing what I liked, what I didn't like, and of course, always got to choose my boots from the skirts, because who doesn't do that? I mean, I do it. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm always choosing boots to go with skirts. So then I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and click through the heels, see what they have in heel wise. they really didn't have many for like base game options. So I was like, that's okay. So we'll just go back to my boots. We'll put these boots on, call it good. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going through all the outfits because they have quite a few outfits like that you can do. So they have, of course, like your everyday. They have your formal. They actually have school, and then they have sleep, party. I don't know what the other ones are. Sportswear. I don't know what the other ones are. There's really a lot of options. So, but for me, it was in Chinese, so couldn't really read that for you guys. So, in the end, this is, you know, what I chose for my sim. I just put some glasses on her, which their glasses options were actually pretty cute. I was actually in awe with these. There was a lot of good options, but of course, I went back with these right there, and I was like, you know what, that's cute, looks good on her, makes her look very sophisticated and like a mom in some sort of way, you know, because me being a mom, gotta look like a mom. So then I started playing around with some of the jewelry, found the necklaces, found this cute little necklace, and I jumped over to the earrings. There wasn't a lot of options, but some cute options. I just chose some studs. I was like, it's good. The head accessories, not really too many. Now the nails is where they definitely did it in. For just like their base game, they really did the damn thing for these. It was really hard to choose a set that I liked. I was like, do I really go for like an almond? Do I go for a short square? Like what do I do? I don't know. So like it took me a little bit to choose. I finally did. So just, you know, watch as I'm just going through all of them, because I was like, oh, I could even change the colors. And then finally I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna choose this one, call it good. And then I went to the bracelets. Didn't really vibe with the bracelets, so I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna take it off. I wasn't really feeling it. Then I went into the rings and I found this diamond ring, and I was like, oh, most definitely my girl's gotta have a diamond ring on it, you know. Then I found the piercings. Girls gotta have a nose ring, of course. Who else would not put a nose ring on their Zoi? Because if you don't, you ain't cool. No, I'm just joking. But honestly, I feel like every time I make a character in some sort, they always gotta have some type of nose ring on. But that's just a me thing. And then I was just going through the color wheel, kind of making it the color of a gold. It was like, oh, that's a little bit too bright. And then I kind of lowered it down, and yeah, and kind of called it good. And that was about it for the accessories. And then I clicked this craft button. Didn't really know what it did. And I was like, okay, so we're done with this. And so then I decided to just go back and click the face because I didn't want to mess anything up. And then up at the top they have these, it's like a camera, so you can take pictures of your Zoi. And they also have poses, so you click into the picture or the camera and it brings up like this, and then they have expressions, and I was kind of just playing around with them. I clicked that one and I clicked through all of them, found the one that I liked. I didn't really mean to click on the very last one that I chose to go in to make her pose, and I was like, oh, that was kind of scary looking with the poses, kind of like a duck face, you know, in a way. And so I was like, let me go back and choose just this one, and I just went through and clicked this. This was actually pretty funny. I really love this one. Kind of reminded me of Fortnite, if you guys play Fortnite. So I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And I was just kind of still playing around and took some photos of her and caught that one, and then I went back into that and I did a dancing one just so that you guys could see that, and then just the standing ones, and I chose this one because how stinking cute is that? And I snapped her a photo, and I was very happy with how she came out. Very cute, and I really enjoyed doing the create a Zoi. So now let's see what we can do and build. Okay, wait. So I was getting ready to go into like the build mode aspect, and I forgot to show you guys this. You can change the background and other things while you're like in the create a Zoi area. So it's kind of like how we put in our custom backgrounds. Now, I'm sure once they allow the mods, because they're working towards that, oh, modders are going to go crazy with this. And you can do the expressions and the poses and all of that in like just this area. You don't even have to do it just for the camera aspect. Like, it's just crazy to me, like what you're able to access with this and just to do with just base game. It's absolutely wild, and I can't wait. Alright, so going into build mode, if anybody knows me, I'm already not a builder by any means on The Sims, so do not judge me. I'm just here to show you just, you know, your normal things. So here I'm just showing you that the walls do like what The Sims do, where you can drop them down to half walls, full walls, or all the way down. This is where you can put the roof up. I'm just kind of showing you the roof and like the whole like little demo house that they gave us, which is just like, I guess, like a base house. And then I actually just show you the whole entire house, it looks like. And then I start going into actually the kitchen. And here in a minute, you're going to see me demolish everything in the kitchen. So what I'm kind of figuring out with this already is I kind of like how when you click something like that, it's all right there for you and easy to access instead of having to like go up top and have to click this or click that. So they've made it a little bit of an easier access just to click and do it that way. And so I'm still trying to figure out where everything is in this, and so you just have to bear with me through this whole thing, because this is actually my first time going into the build area type of thing. I didn't really play without you guys on this. So over here on your left hand side, as you'll see on my screen, you'll see that you have this thing where you can do building with the furniture, and the other one in the end of the video towards it is like where you can do like 3D or create furniture yourself. So that's going to be fun for modders too. Here you see me choosing the counters, which ones I want to place, and then I place them. And then I kind of just go in as if I was just placing down in The Sims. You can click up at the top there, or you could have just scrolled down and chose from there. Of course, I'm choosing like the most expensive things, so that's just me, you know, gotta be expensive. Of course, it's still like The Sims. It won't let you place like certain out grid areas. You are able to still do the alt to free place, and you can see over there on the right hand corner up at the very top, it tells you like little cheats, I guess basically you want to call them, that for you to move things around. And then also when you have something in your mouse click, however you want to say it, it actually reads it out to you as well. You can still click the right side of the mouse to rotate like that. Free place it just as I showed it right there. And again, I'm not a builder, so really for me, I was just placing things just to kind of place things. And then I just kind of went down. Now, what I really enjoy with this is the freedom that you have with the camera. So the camera really allows you to get down deep and personal with this, and you can really move at any angle that you want to. And that's what's going to make it really easier for builders. And I wish you guys the best of luck, because here in a little bit you're going to see me try to build even just like a little square. And your girl was struggling, but it's different. But I think it's going to be something really enjoyable for you builders to figure out, and just the options and camera wise that you're going to be able to handle and enjoy. And just like the angles, you know what I mean? And enjoy it that way. You guys are going to be able to do flawless with this. So I'm just doing my normal stuff of placing things like I would do in The Sims. You see the camera kind of gets way out of whack for me. Like, you really just have so much control with the camera that it's crazy. And then I was like, oh look, it's like these type of shelves. Like, they have options for lots of good shelving that I noticed when we were going through. You'll see that I take that down, no worries. But you see how like when you click on something, the delete button's right there. Also the copy button's right there. Also to change the color of something is right there. So literally you do not have to go up to that top bar at all to change anything. It's literally right there, easy access for you. So I placed these and I was like, I really wasn't a big fan. That's why you see me moving around so much. And I was like, usually you don't put cabinets like this here. Even though I'm not a builder, I can sometimes place cabinets, but yeah, you know, your girl. And then they had this like built-in furniture. I was like, oh, let me just, you know, try it out. No, absolutely not. So then you just see me scrolling through. I come across the small appliances, and so like small appliances are big things for me in The Sims, right? Because even though half of them I can't even use, I love to place them. So I'm wondering if we really can use this toaster, if it's just decor. So I'm not really sure, but I did place like a microwave, the espresso machine, the toaster, and I just was giving you guys a good little view of stuff. And then I came across these shelf things, to which I actually decided, I was like, oh, these gotta go. But did you see me go up to the top bar? I was so used with the Sims that you have to go up to the top bar. So this one I was like, no. Then I found these cute little shelves I could go over the window, and so you just easy copy and paste. It's really simple, and I like that aspect of that. They've made it simple for builders and decorators, that everything's accessible right there. So then I was like, well, I took out the dining room table, so I need to add another dining room table in. And your girl just kind of chose one, but you can see that there's quite a few options that you can choose from. I kind of just placed it wherever because obviously I'm not going to be using this house, so this is just kind of like a showcase for you guys. And I just chose a chair that probably doesn't even go, but it's fine. But see, at least with the copy and paste, it like is easy and simple too with the chairs like that. Or of course, you can always hold shift as per usual, even on the Sims. That was just giving you a good little view. Oh, also found out that you could do hit G for the grid thing like you can on Sims 4. Because I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but that grid on the floor really drives me crazy unless I'm trying to place something. But other than that, I can't stand it. Then I was like, let me redo the living room. I tried to mess around with some walls here. That's why I was kind of debating. I'm like, do I try? Do I not try? And yeah. Your girl failed at this aspect too. I don't know what the hell I'm doing when I'm building, especially not in a new game that I know nothing about. And so you see me just clicking around and I don't get very far. I end up just backtracking everything. But I was like, okay, well this says move and rotate, and said, okay, well let me move this out. No, that just didn't work for me. I didn't understand what I was doing. So yeah, we're just gonna watch me fail here at this part because your girl is just not. And I was like, okay, well maybe I can just expand this. No, that wasn't it either. So I was like looking up at the top, I'm like, okay, what do I do? And I was like, you know what, just reset property at this point because your girl is just not having it. And then I figured out you could change the wall height just right there. Then you can also level, or not level, but make the levels higher, or wall height higher. And I was like, oh girl, you can keep going and going. And so I was like, shoot, let me just leave it like this. I didn't want to go too high. And then of course I just hit Control Z and went back down. Then I also figured out that you could just make it to where it's a handrail, nice and quick and simple, easy use, which that's pretty helpful and pretty cool. So when you're building like a porch, I guess in a way you could do that. And then we moved on to placing another couch. I just kind of did whatever here. I was just kind of messing around just to show you guys and showcase some of the couches. And then I just was really just messing around with it. Not really doing anything in particular, just showcasing a lot of stuff for you guys. TV really threw me for a loop because I was like, well, why do these look so small, right? I'm like, why are they so small? And then I was like, well, let me look at the TVs. And I was like, okay, there's this TV that needs to go on a stand, so let me put the like most expensive stand. You would think it would be like that, it would be like the most expensive one would be the biggest one, right? And I was like, okay, well that's not it either, so let me just play this TV, let me just place this TV, delete it, delete this. And then I was still looking, I was so confused. I was like, okay, whatever. At this point I was like, we're just going to try it again. Because I was like, maybe I did something wrong. And no, your girl just doesn't know what she's doing. And at the end of the day, I ended up deleting all of it. And I was trying to figure out how to unclick it. By the way, you hit escape and it just unclicks it. And then I was like, okay, well, let me just put this TV up here and call it good. And then I was like, well, let me put some windows back. And I thought, oh, well, maybe, you know, let me do the wallpaper first. And I kind of went through it all. It was pretty cool. Pretty simple to access. And I kind of just clicked through it for you guys. And then I found the effect one. Wait till you guys see this. I went down and I was like, what? Like, guys, that's insane of what you can do. It's pretty cool if you really think about it, but it would be kind of trippy to play like that the whole entire time. So 10/10 don't recommend. But then I just kind of put it back to where it needed to be, and I was like, all right, great, we're just gonna call it good. And I was looking for the windows, didn't really know how to access that. I guess I should have went to build mode, but I just kind of copy and pasted the windows here because I was like, well, that's simple enough. And then I just put some window shades on it, or blinds, whatever you call them, and they fit perfectly, which was kind of really satisfying because in The Sims the blinds never fit perfectly and you always have to figure out, you know, like alt place things. And anyways, so that was pretty cool, and so I just want to show you guys that. And then I also wanted to place like an AC conditioner because I was like, of course, why not? And then I moved on to the outside. This was pretty cool. Of course, just like The Sims, you can choose like what time of the day, especially when you're building. Of course, everybody always wants to build during the daylight, not at dark because you can't see nothing. And then I hit reset property. I just put it back to where it was, so everything was pretty normal. You can save the property, move the property, just like you can in The Sims, so it's pretty simple and self-explanatory. Then your girl was like, well, let me see what you can do with the stairs, because everybody knows the stairs that in The Sims 4 are complicated, especially for me. Let me tell you again, they're very complicated in here. I could not figure it out, as you can see, so I just kind of unselected it and put it back the way that it was, because I was like, I cannot figure out how to do this, and just left it as B. And then I was like, well, I really want to showcase some things. Here's the 3D project thing, and then furniture. I also wanted to do some like just furniture, but I didn't want to go through the whole entire house and show you guys that and take too long, so I just started placing this furniture on the outside. And some of the furniture that you can see is pretty cute. I would say that they could have had better and more options, so it is lacking in that sense. Hopefully with maybe some downloadable content that they release, that you'll get more things just like The Sims. But I feel for like base game wise, you're very limited. So mailbox also had to go. It was in my way. I wanted to place more furniture, so it had to go. And then I was just kind of looking through things and just kind of taking a second, look at the bathroom, place a tub. And then I was like, oh my god, you can place outside this? So I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I could go into this whole blueprint thing and build. So that's what your girl did. She tried to build a wall, and now you get to see me fail about 20,000 times. I started building this weird wall. Also, you can go like at a diagonal, which is kind of cool. You can build like all kinds of stuff, and just anywho, I still didn't know what the heck I was doing. So best of luck to you builders. This was absolutely horrendous to even look at. Look at me. I totally skipped like just right over it and still missed it. So yeah, it's pretty fun. So then I was finally like, all right, let me really try this, let me focus. And I was really getting into it, and I was really starting to get like the hang of the walls after this, of how they kind of worked. Didn't realize I was missing a whole piece over there on the left hand side, and that's why it wasn't completely closing in. So I can say that this part is kind of really complicated. For some reason, it really was hard for me to line up the walls to create an actual like, you know, room. Like in The Sims, it's a little easier to do. So I was really concerned and very confused, and I didn't understand, like maybe there was an easier way, maybe I was just doing the harder way. Because you can see like it still didn't form the wall, and I was so confused. So I was like, let me just delete this wall, let me find the sledgehammer. And I just created the whole wall over again because it was really just irking my nerves. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have a little extra sliver, so let me just find the sledgehammer and take it out. And I hope and prayed that it wasn't gonna take out everything that I did, because that was the first time I'd use it. So your girl found out the easy way, thank goodness. And then I finally created my little box with a nose square, and I was like, well, let me try a roof. Yeah, good luck. So I was like, okay, let me grab my roof, just, you know, a normal roof over here. This part was pretty simple. Kind of reminded me of The Sims, of how just to place it on there, and then I had to get it right, of course. And the only thing that I really notice is that I feel like the arrows right there to drag it out were really too far away from the roof itself. Like, why is it really that far out when the Sims have it like right on top of the roof? So it was like easier to find, because I was really confused when I was trying to drag it out like that, or even drag it up. And that's why you see me grab that and look at that, and I was like, well, I'm really confused because I should be able to just to drag it up, right, and make it taller. And then I finally realized later on that it was just the arrows were too far out. So then I finally decided to do one this way. I was not by any means trying to be perfect with this. I was just kind of playing around with it just to see like how it moved and things like that. And I just kind of stretched it out, and you know, it wasn't perfect, but it is what it is. So all in all, in build mode is what I'm trying to get at. It seems a little more complicated than what Sims is. Now, I by no means am a Sims 4 builder. I just recently started getting into kind of playing around with it, so this was really complicated for me. I just feel like things are kind of, when building the roof and the walls, it was kind of complicated, when in The Sims 4 it's a lot easier. Now, within like finding the roof and the windows and the doors and the stairs and ladders, it's pretty nice and clean looking right there, and so I give that like an 8 out of 10. But building wise, I'm very, very confused of how to do all this, but I I think in time it's going to be a little bit easier, and as when the game releases March 27th, I do believe it is, people get to play more about it, give lots of tutorials on how to do it. But you know, in the end, I think you're going to be able to still play The Sims and this game and enjoy both. As in cast wise, I definitely say that this game has overpowered The Sims and cast wise, just because of all the features you can have and just the clothing that they have and stuff like that. It's really outdone itself. But definitely, like, build wise, I'm going to give it like a 5 out of 10 right now, because it just seems a little too complicated for somebody that's going to first come in and try to build a house. It's not really first house builder friendly. So that's just my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is it for now, and don't forget to go ahead and like this video. Drop a comment below of what your thoughts are on the game and what you guys are expecting out of the game, and what would you really like to see this game come about and have DLC. Anyways, bye for now, and I will talk to all you guys later.